Two. Cool. All right, guys, this is live. Erin and Rachel, thanks so much for taking the time right now at night to meet with me. I have several of my friends that are doing short-term rentals right now, and it's kind of the big thing. They want to be able to maximize their returns. And I told them, like, you know what? I got a couple of friends that are super good at doing short-term rentals, and they have their own little calculators, and they're just little gurus. So anyways, I figured, why not talk to my friends and see, hey, I'm getting ready to do an Airbnb and then hopefully another one in a couple months. What if I can have some short-term rental hacks? What's working for you? What's working for others? How can we be better? So Erin and Rachel, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, first off, thanks for letting us do this. We're really excited. Susie is awesome. We're really glad to connect with her as a friend and even more so as a business partner and all that. But Rachel and I, we fell in love from afar. I watched her at a soccer game, and I said, that's the girl I'm going to marry. And about forever later, she finally gave up because I kept going, and
He was a persistent little bugger, but they don't need to know that.
you got to keep going. Anyways, we have a few kids. We lived in Mexico for a time, doing some work down there. Now we're back here in the States. Currently, we have 3 of our own Airbnbs, and we co-host lots of other ones. We have about 3 or 4 here down in the valley, and about 10 in Park City area. So,
Dang, you're killing it.
We're having some fun.
That's awesome. Well, please share a little bit of your knowledge. I mean, you don't have to tell us everything. People can always reach out to you, like Rachel, Erin. Hey, I need some advice, or I need you to help me co-host. They can definitely do that. But if you don't mind sharing with us a little bit about some of your tips, I know right here, airdna.co is something that I'd love to talk to people about. Can you tell us a little bit something about airdna.co?
Yeah, so I'm gonna turn this over to Rachel. Rachel, kind of our data hack.
Yeah, so I love to do the analytical part of Airbnbs and just kind of seeing what the market is like in that area. So I use AirDNA all the time. You just type in a zip code and you can see the basics, which is good enough for us in some areas. You can also subscribe to certain cities and get like exact numbers on everything. But we have found that just an idea of the basics of that city is a decent estimate. So you can see the average daily rate that you get. You can see the occupancy rate and the potential revenue. The occupancy rate is a big one. That's kind of the biggest one I look at because that average daily rate doesn't really take in account size of unit, but it's a good average. So after looking at this and looking at the occupancy rate, then I'll go into Airbnb and type in the same zip code and then the same exact specs on the home that I am looking for, and then compare price-wise there. But the occupancy rate is a good one to know because it kind of gives you the overall demand of that area.
Yeah, I mean, for lack of a better explanation, we kind of call it one of our key indicators. I mean, as you can see, I mean, just with the screenshot here, I mean, I've never looked at the Vegas area, but I mean, a 53% occupancy rate, that seems relatively low. And at first, the occupancy, you'd say, oh, that's not very high. However, the average daily rate, especially it being the Las Vegas area, it's rather high for most places. So at the same rate, while it's a lower occupancy, it is a higher rate. So both of those 2 indicators, just by looking at the screenshot that you have here, is helpful to say, there's possibly some possibility there. But at the same rate, another indicator that you can see is the active listings. I mean, you're competing now with 6,214 people. So then that comes into, okay, how can I differentiate myself from the other 6,213 people?
And that's what you guys are so good at. That's what I love, because there's a lot of competition out there, but it's having those little hacks. How do you get better? And this is kind of what we have right here, how to beat the competition and stand out. So tell us a little bit about what you see there.
So, I mean, an easy thing that it's relatively easy is to become a superhost. More so, it helps a little bit in the algorithms of increasing your viewership amongst potential guests. But additionally, it's relatively easy to get. You have to have a 4.8 and above star rating, and then have 10 guests stay in a 3-month period, which for most of our guests occurs within 20 days, if that. And so that it helps more so from giving confidence to the customer.
I would say to add on to that, there's just one little thing that a lot of people they don't know this going into it, is that to become a superhost and to maintain that status, you cannot cancel on anybody. So once they're booked, you've got to let it go. So if there's any days that you want to block out, that you need it for family or whatever, you've got to block those out so that no one books them.
Okay, good tips. And then I see a couple other things there for be able to stand out. What do you think about the list there?
Yeah, so we'll just kind of drive into it. I mean, so the second one, give discounts for longer stays. That's on Airbnb for those that don't know. They encourage you to do that, and they already have it kind of programmed into their system to offer it to you. But even on top of that, even if you have, because you will have guests that reach out and say, hey, we were looking for these dates. We noticed that it's not available for a month. We want to stay there for a month. That's essentially when you can go into negotiation stage and learn, especially what we try to do is learn why they're there. Like, are they staying for family? Is it because based off of what they'll tell you, you can first gauge if they're going to be a good customer, a good guest, as well as, well, if they're there for a family reunion, their likability to stay there longer is higher, as opposed to, oh, it's just a weekend trip that we're just considering kind of thing. So that way you can alter your prices and your negotiation tactics. Anything you want to add to that, Rachel?
Nope.
And why don't you jump in? You do a lot with our accommodation with our guests on that other part.
The accommodation, that's a big one, especially. So it helps to pick a target that you want renting your property. So for instance, in one of ours, we only want families in there, mainly to avoid the party scene. So we have really accommodated to families in that house, having pack and plays, even car seats. We have a bunk bed and a toy room and a trampoline in the back. So we really accommodate to who we want to rent that house. And then as far as having the basics, you want that in every unit. You want shampoo, conditioner, coffee, soaps, towels, all of that stuff. Pretty much anything that they need for a stay.
Yeah, and that's a super good tip, because I actually went to Vegas not too long ago, and I stayed at Airbnb, and I probably won't stay there again because of these accommodations. I know of these. I know these should be hopefully placed in every stay, but the one I stayed in didn't have hand soap. It didn't have washcloths. It didn't have so many different items, and that you had to carry your towels. You had to come in and bring, little, like your shampoo would have been so nice, kind of like the hotel. Try to be kind of like the hotel. It makes it nice, because for us, we're so busy. We just want to go in, sleep, have a place to sleep at, and then get up the next day. But here I am having to pack towels. I'm having to pack all the utensils, like the bowls for cooking. I'm like, man, that's way too much that I need to carry. So we'll definitely never stay at that one. So just think of things like that when you're going to be having your own Airbnb. Stand out. It's not going to be that expensive. Go to IKEA. That's what I did. I went to IKEA and got a bunch of stuff, so they don't have to run to the store. I need a bowl. I need a spatula. I need something. Think about that ahead of time.
And especially it'll happen over time, that as you manage stuff, there'll just be things that you forget. Like, hey, we need a blender. Do you have a blender? Funny enough, I just bought one and I'll be there in 20 minutes. Generally, that's what we say. And in that 20 minutes, we run to the store and buy one. Just as if, oh, yes, we were thinking of you, but we'll make sure to head on over now. But even building a little bit further into the shampoos and conditioners and stuff, there's also, depending on who your target market is, that's the types of things that you can buy. And so essentially what I mean, some of our units are in the Park City area, which is more luxurious area in general. And so in some of those, we've partnered with a local soap maker. And so it's handmade local soap that people use. And they're real small ones. We even leave a little card that says made by this artisan. And it builds the whole experience, because that's truly one of the biggest ways that you will differentiate yourself from any other host, is the experience that you're creating people. Like Rachel was mentioning, for the family home, everything in that home is geared towards family. We'll talk about it later, but we even have a hospitality gift that is in the same theme of the whole family, that it incorporates their stay in Salt Lake City. There's a local sports team. So everything that you do, your shampoos, your conditioners, it should all build towards what is your clientele? What do they want? Is it just a family? Okay, then you can go to the IKEA. Is it a higher end individual that's going there to ski? Okay, then you probably should have some nicer soap. Is this just a crash and dash kind of type of place? Then you can just have regular stuff. So it just really depends on that. Anything you want to add on that, Rachel?
I think the biggest thing to keep in mind is Airbnb was kind of created for a dash and stash, whatever you just said.
Oh yeah, a crash and dash.
Crash and dash, thank you. So a lot of people will book within 36 hours of before they actually go there. And when I was in Seattle, I stayed in an Airbnb. I was staying with a friend, and it was too far away for me to drive one night. I was there super late, and so I just booked an Airbnb. I didn't have any of my stuff. I didn't have my toothbrush. I didn't have my shampoos. I had nothing. And so I looked specifically on Airbnb for a place that had something like that. And it was just a little spare room, had toothbrush, had shampoos, had a shower. Great. That's all I needed. So I think those are really important.
Oh yeah. Cool. Well, we can't forget about the Wi-Fi. Most people nowadays want to have Wi-Fi. I mean, business or just for luxury, you want to make sure you offer that. If you don't, you may lose a lot of bookings because of it. Wouldn't you guys agree with that?
Oh yeah, I'd say you can't not have it nowadays. If you don't have it, you won't get bookings.
And then, I mean, even to take it a step further, what we do is on your pictures, you can even do a test of the speed of your Wi-Fi. And essentially you can just go to any, Wi-Fi speed testing place. I mean, even just in Google, just type in Wi-Fi speed test, and you can take a screenshot, upload it, because oftentimes there are individuals that are commuting for work or other sort of things, and they need a specific speed. And if you communicate that you have high speed, then you can prove it by putting a picture there, so that as they're scrolling through your stuff, it can be confirmed by seeing that in the pictures.
Okay, cool. Electronic key box for check-in makes it easy so you don't lose a key. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
There's lots of different methods on how to do that out there. I mean, you can go as complex as you want. There's a lot of Wi-Fi connected ones. And oftentimes what we do, a little hack, is that we set the Wi-Fi code, or excuse me, the entrance code to the home to the last 4 of their phone number, because they'll remember that. But you can, with Wi-Fi ones, you can change them instantly, or even just, a regular Home Depot electronic one. You can use those and we just generally choose simple things like the address of the home is the entrance code. And then we switch it out every month, just so that you can protect your home from people either returning for any sort of reason, which we've never had, but nonetheless, we'd rather be safe than sorry. And then additionally, we even have one that's kind of like a lockbox that is just real simple. You unlock it, there's the key. You get inside the house, you put it back there, and then the keys are actually inside of the home. So there's all sorts of ways, but the whole point of it is trying to make it streamlined, especially with the lockbox one. Since it's not as streamlined, what we often do for those guests is it's more of a crash and dash type of place. So we'll even tell them, and we have accessibility to it. It's rather close to where we're at. We generally leave it unlocked because we know that the area is secure, and we tell the people, hey, we realize you're coming in late. You don't want you to fumble around. It's unlocked. Go right on in and lock it behind you. Keys are inside. And people love that because they're just like, oh, okay, I feel like I'm coming home because I can just literally walk in and I'm there,
So nice. So nice. Well, the last 2 items we got is one's offering coupons to local attractions and then hospitality gifts. What do you think about the coupons?
Killer. I mean, that I would say that is one thing that we feel that sets us apart from other people. We really try to focus on local aspect, because to some degree there are people who are coming from the area and already know it, but reality is there's a large portion of people that are coming to where we're at. So we're based in Utah. A lot of them are coming here and this is the first time, and so we really focus on giving that local experience. And so we've worked with some partners and when I say partners, I just mean local businesses that are in the area. We just walk in and say, hey, we're Airbnb hosts, and we started this in the very beginning and we just had 1 room. And people were just very open to us. And now that we have more, obviously we have more accessibility to that. But local business owners, they want people in their business. And so if you say, hey, I want to get people in there, what can I do? Can you give me a coupon? What do you have? They'll always work with you. They'll always show interest and really get you in there, or get you something so that your guests see more value. And then also we communicate with our guests when they come with a hospitality book as well as an electronic version. Upon you arriving, these are some great places that you can eat. These are our recommendations. And since you're our guest, we've already worked it out. You get an X% off by saying this or using this coupon code. Rachel, do you want to add other
I'd
things
say
to that?
that we have done, with our Airbnbs, we've done without hospitality gifts and with hospitality gifts. And we've seen a major increase overall in our income from Airbnb using hospitality gifts. And it really ups those reviews, especially if we target, like with families, like we target that gift toward families. We give them a free waffle mix when they come in and little things like that. We heard once that you're supposed to give like 10% of that booking toward a hospitality gift.
Yeah,
Right?
kind of. They say it as like a general rule. 10% of the booking fee goes towards a hospitality gift. We've kind of found that that's, I mean, depending on location and the type of listing, that can be rather high. But even scaling it back anywhere between 5 and 8% still provides a fabulous gift for people. In some of them, we provide fresh flowers for them. In others, we'll provide a local taste. So I mean, there's a local Beehive cheese is someone who we work with. We provide a local cheese that it's crumbled up, so when they walk in, there's something for them to taste. Because I mean, that when you get to a place you want to eat, you want to relax. And if you walk in and there's already food there that you can tell that you can eat, that's another thing. But we always really try to go for that local aspect. Real quick story. I was one of my mentors who I was working with. She was managing a unit that was in a complex, essentially kind of a condo. She managed one, and then the neighbor right next door, she was able to co-host more as a mentorship / overwatch kind of thing, just to give pointers sort of. And she knows they're the exact same unit. Decoration is essentially the same, but in hers, she offered a large amount of hospitality, which is her following up with people, her talking to them, in some case meeting them, providing flowers, wonderful coffee spread, food. Where the other one, it was literally just an Airbnb. You show up, this is what it is. And she earned $1,500 more off of her unit, which was the exact same as the next door neighbors, by providing it just hospitality. And then to take it a step further, one of her clients or guests was so impressed, they said, I love this area so much. Can you help me buy a house here? She's a realtor, and so instantly she received a lead to lead into purchasing a home, and then purchasing that home for one, as well as turning it into something for her business, as he's going to let her rent it as an Airbnb unit for her. So hospitality is king. And that definitely, I mean, one thing that we've done lately, I really like flags, which is a little bit weird, but I bought a flagpole, put it in our front yard, and I decided, we had a guest book from England, and we just have this in our spare room in our home. And I just thought, wouldn't it be so cool if they showed up and there was the Union Jack, the flag of the UK, there to greet them? And so I bought one off of Amazon for a couple bucks. It came, put it up. I said to the guest, hey, we're so excited to have you come tonight. Look for the Union Jack. When you arrive, we figure we want you to feel like you're at home, away from home. And he absolutely loved it. And we've continued that. We actually had some guests arrive today from Australia. We bought the Australian flag, and they actually brought us candies because they knew that we were going to do that, because I told them before. And it really has turned into a very cool experience on really making those people, you want to meet them. I mean, consider themselves. They're coming from a new place, or they're coming from across the valley. They want a place to stay that is nice, comfortable, and so do everything in your power to make them feel that way.
Nice. Well, hey, my question is, do you pick the flowers, or is Rachel picking the flowers? And then you're putting them in there.
I'm picking the flowers.
I love it.
If I didn't, they'd be like the cheapos and just like
That's not true.
Still in the plastic.
It was my idea.
Dandelions, maybe?
It was my idea to do
sunflowers from the garden.
I love it. Well, cool. I wanted to talk about two different items that I love. Keep an eye and an ear out. This is a camera and the noise. Those are huge. I just bought 4 cameras. Actually, I got 4 cameras after I talked to you, Aaron.
Awesome.
I got 4 of those. I'm so excited. And I got the same type of little mount, and I'm ready to roll. I'm so excited to put it in my complex down in Idaho. And I'm getting ready to order the Noise Aware, which I can tell you a little bit about in a bit. But tell me a little bit about the camera.
So, I mean, the biggest concept on this is, if people know that you're watching them to some degree, they're going to behave. And it's not like these cameras are inside. These are exterior cameras, with the whole idea of letting you know when people arrive, when people leave. And to some degree, it's helped us in our hospitality aspect. We know that when people show up, because the camera alerts us. This system here is called WISE, WYZE. It's very affordable. I mean, everything that you see there is a $50 camera. Comes with an app that is free. It's not awesome quality, but for the number of Airbnb units that we have, it's very affordable. And in some cases, when guests arrive, we send a message say, hey, we know she just arrived, please let us know. And people are very surprised, one, that we know. But to some degree, it's two-pronged. One, hospitality, and two, we can see that you're there, so they kind of know psychologically these people are watching. It's not like this is just going to be a place that we can do whatever we want, because they're obviously watching us.
Mm-hmm. To add on to that, safety is a big one. People want to feel safe when they're there. If there's a camera outside, you know, if something happens to their car, we'll be able to see what happened and, you know, what it was and all of that. So safety's been a big thing. People have asked us, okay, do you have this? Do you have a security system? Do you have deadbolts? All of that. So I think that helps with that too.
Cool. Well, let me tell you a little bit about Noise Aware. Noise Aware is something that was a product that was created by short-term rental guys, and they wanted to be able to control the noise level in a Airbnb or a home away, wherever you were staying at, a short-term rental. And they created a device, and I believe it's $199. So it's a little bit more pricier, but what it does is you plug it into your outlet and you set the level of the noise that you want it to be set at. So if it's like after 9 p.m. and it gets loud above the threshold that you put it, it's going to send you a text message within 2 to 3 minutes. Hey, an alert that it's too loud. And then you can text the person staying in there like, hey, you guys are a little bit too loud. Can you guys keep it down? So it's pretty cool. It's kind of like you know, like your camera. It comes with an app. You're able to send alerts or get alerts and then text them back, and that's nice because you know, that's a big concern of mine. Like, well, the noise levels. I don't want to have any complaints from anybody. I want to keep it in control, and that's one way you can do it. It's a little pricier, but just one per unit, you're golden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I could, just a few things of counsel on these things is make sure you disclose to your guests in the listings that all of these things are there. You don't want to hide anything. There can be some guests that feel that that's an intrusion of privacy. And then, I mean, with the Noiseware, I've heard about them as well. And oftentimes I've heard that when people are trying to do malicious activity, aka a party or whatever, they oftentimes are aware of these and they'll find them and unplug them. And so instantly that's an indicator to you as the host that there's a problem, and that because you're not, if you're getting complaints from a neighbor or whatever it is, or you're not receiving anything, yet you can see with your cameras outside that there's, 20 cars, that's a great indicator, another way for you to realize, hey, we need to do something else. But make sure you, as always, that you disclose this, because we've had instances where some people see the camera and say, hey, you didn't tell us about us. But since we disclose it, we say, no, it's right here. Oh, yeah, perfect. Thanks for letting us know. Sorry about that kind of stuff.
Cool. That's
the biggest thing that these help you with too is to avoid neighbor complaints, because in some cities, if you get a complaint from a neighbor and if they take it to like the police or something, they can give you a cease and desist letter, meaning like you have to stop right away, and that will really affect business and income. So you want to keep your neighbors happy, and these help do that.
And I mean, one last thing I would say is probably some of the people listening, and I don't know, they're even considering, well, I have a spare room. Can I do that? And do I need all of this? We found that when there's individuals who live at the home, that these things aren't as big of an issue. Just because, think of it, if you're going into someone's home, they're right above you or they're in the room next to you. So you're not going to do malicious activity, because the owner is there, like they're above you, they're around you, they can hear you. So if you're considering doing this just for your own home, a spare room, a mother-in-law apartment, this isn't as big of a concern. Nonetheless, the camera system, I would say, would be the only thing that you should at this time do, just because you can see people come and go. Okay. Or even the Ring system, which is essentially the same thing. It's just a little bit more, it's got a higher price tag essentially.
Nice. Yeah, great tips there, guys. We're almost done. I know it's taking a little bit longer. It's kind of like get me prepared for in the future. I'm going to be having a podcast, which I'm pretty excited about.
Killer.
But I wanted to do this, and I wanted to pick your guys' brain and share it to all my friends and your friends. But I know you created a calculator, because you guys, I've sat with you, you've like blew my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this on Excel? And I gave you the address of some properties. You were able to tell me, hey, this is what you can make at this % of occupancy. And it just blew me away. I'm like, I'm sold. Okay, let me get a couple properties, and I'm hoping to here pretty soon get you a couple, and we can work together. Tell me about your calculator, and yeah.
I mean, basically, that's always the question that comes down to with people who are considering it is, well, what am I going to make? And so what we did is we just created a calculator. We have a simple one that essentially shows like general idea of what people can expect. And then we also have more in-depth ones that comes down to the number of soaps that you put in a room, the cost per unit on each one of those, number of towels, the usage or the turnovers per towel kind of thing. Just to give an idea of this is the hard cost based off of our experience of what you could expect for your unit. And since it's a calculator, it allows you to play around. Okay, what if it's low season, and this is generally low season occupancy at X%, you can calculate, will I still be able to pay the mortgage, pay the bill, pay the rent, whatever it is. Just because we developed it for ourselves because we wanted to know, and we found it really a helpful tool for those who we co-host with to help them give a general idea of them pushing them over the edge to do it or to not do it. And generally this calculator, it just helps them to convince them to do it, because it really is a wonderful ability to share your home, serve people, but at the same time provide a service where you can generate income.
That's pretty cool. And I know we talked about it. It's going to be a basic calculator to help people out, because I know a lot of my friends that do Airbnbs or any other short-term rentals, they didn't know that. I didn't know that until I actually met you guys. So I'm really excited to have that calculator. And if you want this calculator, these guys are willing to share it to you. I know I'm going to be able to get it from them, or them. They'll be able to send it to you. But down on the comments, you got to be able to type in, comment, hashtag I want that, or hashtag send it. You just got to send it, guys. These guys will send it. Boom! That's right. Anyways, seriously, comment if you want it. These guys will definitely help you out. If you have any questions, reach out to them. But yeah, if you want the calculator, just comment down below. I'm so excited to get my Airbnb ready, and all of my other friends, if you have one, seriously, this is awesome hacks they just gave you. Blew my mind, and there's so much more even to it. We just covered a little bit. Anything you guys want to end with?
No, I mean, just essentially, if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to us. Kirkham Castles is our company, and we're happy to talk with you, chat with you, just to give you some pointers. And if you want to work together, great. We're more interested in making more friends. And if we do business together, great. But we love just to connect with other people and help.
Yeah, these guys are awesome. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and appreciate it. Want the calculator? Down below, comment, I want that. Hashtag send it. Boom, we're out. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, right.